You didn't leave when it started hurting. You stayed. That's what changed you. Not the pain, not the ending, but the fact that you stayed long after you knew you shouldn't. At the beginning, it wasn't like this. It felt right. It felt easy. It felt natural. You didn't have to question anything. Everything just made sense. And that's what made it so hard to leave later, because you kept remembering how it used to be, not how it was now. That's where most people get stuck. They don't stay for what is. They stay for what it used to be. And that's exactly what you did. Even when things changed, you held on to the old version of them, the version that cared, the version that showed up, the version that made you feel important. But that version was slowly disappearing, and you saw it, you felt it, but you didn't accept it, because accepting it meant letting go. So instead, you stayed, you adjusted, you compromised, you tolerated. Little by little, you started accepting things you once said you never would. Disrespect, distance, inconsistency. Not all at once, slowly. That's how it happens. No one suddenly accepts less. They get used to it. And you got used to it. You got used to waiting. You got used to being unsure. You got used to feeling confused. And the worst part? You started thinking, this is normal. That this is what relationships feel like. But it's not. It's just what happens when you stay too long in something that's already broken. Because when something is right, you don't feel confused. You don't feel like you're guessing. You don't feel like you're constantly trying to figure things out. You feel secure. But you didn't have that anymore. And still, you stayed. Because leaving felt harder. Leaving meant facing reality. Leaving meant accepting the truth. Leaving meant losing them. And you weren't ready for that. So you chose the easier option, staying, even though it was slowly breaking you. And that's what changed you. Not just emotionally, but mentally. You became someone different, more anxious, more overthinking, more unsure of yourself. You started questioning everything, not just them, but yourself, your worth, your value, your way of loving. And that's what staying too long does. It doesn't just hurt you, it changes how you see yourself. And now, even after it's over, you're not the same person. You're more guarded, more careful, more distant. Not because you want to be, but because you learned the hard way what happens when you ignore yourself. And here's the truth you need to hear. You didn't lose because you stayed. You learned. You learned your limits. You learned your patterns. You learned what you should never tolerate again. And that lesson is powerful, because now you won't stay that long again. Now you won't ignore the signs. Now you won't lose yourself trying to keep someone, because you felt what that costs, and it cost you too much. So next time, you'll leave earlier. Not because you don't care, but because you care about yourself more. And that's growth. Not becoming cold, but becoming aware. Aware of what you deserve. Aware of what you tolerate. Aware of when to walk away. Because staying too long doesn't prove love. It proves you're afraid to let go. And now, you're not afraid anymore.